I've got a good memory, but it's short. Shout out to my dad for that one. That's the thing about movies. Unless a flick is groundbreaking or outrageous or a blockbuster mega hit, they tend to be forgotten pretty quick. This can be both good and bad. Let's start with the bad news. Falling into obscurity means, well, the movie's obscure. Less people will watch it. It's remembered less. But this can make for some excellent hidden gem viewing. Rediscovering a movie that has disappeared from the public's memory at large is a blast and a half, to say the least. Especially if it's a lesser-known horror sci-fi gem, because honestly, the more obscure a sci-fi horror is, the better it's likely to be. Big-budget blockbusters need not apply. Y'all try too hard to explain everything and shoehorn expensive special effects in. If you made a movie for multi-millions and it faded into obscurity, it's probably for a good reason. Hello horror heads, and welcome back to the Scariest channel on YouTube, Top 5 Scary Videos. I'm your horror host, Keegan Hughes, and today we're gonna be counting down the top 5 scary forgotten sci-fi horror movies. So grab your clunky yet technologically advanced weaponry, because this is gonna get messy. Before we get started, make sure to give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe for more alienated aliens. Outrageous. Let's get going. Coming in at number 5, we've got Wes Craven's Swamp Thing. Wes Craven did a Swamp Thing? 2 years before Nightmare? Huh, who knew? One hell of a flick, too. Of course, it follows the classic swamp man story, you know. There's a hunky scientist working on some sort of secret formula, but he gets accosted by a paramilitary force, accidentally uses the experimental stuff on himself, and turns into a beast. He's more hulky than hunky at this point. The version of this eponymous DC bog beast is just full of camp and goofy fun, and when you boil it down to the bare essentials, it is just a rubber monster movie, but it's done with such heart it's hard to ignore. Plus, it hits on 3 different levels. You got the monster movie, you got the mad scientist movie, and you got the transformation beat. There's something for everybody. Speaking of something for everybody, this movie also has lots of moods. At times, it can be peaceful and poetic, channeling the gentle soul of a certain Frankenstein's monster, while at other times, it can be a vicious and brutal gore fest. The balance it strikes between those two things is surprisingly, well, balanced. It helps that the titular Thing is relatively good-humored through all the nonsense, finding beauty in the swamp, claiming it only hurts when he laughs. It's a lovely departure from the grimdark tone some similar movies may try to hit. Oh, and Adrienne Barbeau's in it too. Hard to miss when casting her in classic horror, eh? If you're in the mood for something equally goofy and gory, take Swamp Thing for a spin. Plus, it's always interesting to watch pre-Nightmare Wes Craven flicks and see the similarities and differences. Arriving at number 4, we've got The Arrival. This movie is exactly as many years old as me and has nothing to do with Denis Villeneuve's language-based meditation on motherhood. The Arrival is indeed a first-contact alien movie, but it takes a much sillier approach and stars none other than a very sweaty Charlie Sheen. I wonder what he has to say about all the tiger blood-related news headlining Netflix these days. Returning to the topic at hand, The Arrival has a whole lot go right for it, even though it can be pretty cheesy at times. It's the classic 90s sci-fi thriller, complete with a wisecracking little kid and some questionable cultural costuming. It's likely that the main reason this one isn't as well remembered as it could be is that it was up against Independence Day during its theatrical run. Yeah, this one opened a couple weeks ahead of Will Smith and Jeff Goldblum's Doomsday Disaster piece, which seems to have all but erased it from our collective consciousness. The Arrival has Sheen play a radio astronomer who comes across a signal from another world. This, for whatever reason, leads him to being immediately canned and searching for signals out of his attic. While continuing his search from the comfort of home, he stumbles across some real top secret stuff and has a great deal of difficulty convincing anyone of anything. It's the classic man who knew too much story. From here, we enter a world of deceit, and the movie gets both intense and goofy. For every scene where our hero narrowly escapes death by some wild assassination attempt, there is also one where Charlie Sheen dresses up as a Mexican security guard or has black hole grenades lobbed at him in his possessions. Even if they do look kind of funky, the aliens with backward legs are an image I can't seem to get out of my head. Inverse knees, man. In the end, The Arrival is also sort of a commentary on global warming, which is a caveat I wasn't expecting. But truly, what is scarier than the world heating up to unlivable temperatures so that an alien race can comfortably take over? Well, maybe that scenario, but without the aliens, because then it would be for nothing. Coming in at number 3, we've got Screamers. This is not just a banger of a tune by Sleepy Dog, it's also a paranoid, muddy, strip-mining nightmare based on a story by Philip K. Dick. We're dropped into a futuristic world in which a war is being fought between a mining company and a union. Not so unrealistic yet, hey? The new economic bloc has sent a bunch of grizzled dudes to mine a miraculous material that solves all of Earth's energy issues. However, this stuff is also mad deadly, and the miners are tired of literally perishing in the name of profit. So the Alliance, a fun name for the Union, designs some artificially intelligent self-replicating screaming robots called autonomous mobile swords. Hell yeah. So these insane robot things go around mucking NEB folks until they table some peace talks. Psych! the peace talks were a ruse, but not that it matters, because in a stunning twist of fate that nobody could have seen coming, the autonomous mobile swords have become the new common enemy. See, they started to replicate humans pretty effectively and started killing indiscriminately. So now the world of screamers is an endlessly paranoid one. Anyone could be a screamer in disguise. You can't trust anybody. Not even the kid with the teddy bear on the dead planet. Especially not the kid with the teddy bear on the dead planet. Hell, don't even trust the teddy bear itself. Dark, mucky, desolate, desperate, this is a flick scary in scope that has plenty of spooky moments to boot. It's kind of like Blade Runner meets Alien, but also kind of less memorable than either one. But hey, this is a list about forgotten movies. I think we can forgive it for not living up to those two legendary flicks. Coming in at number 2, we've got Cube. Oh, Canada. I'm always shouting out Canadian origins, you know me. Cube is a cult classic that doesn't get talked about nearly enough. Members of its ravenous fan base may claim otherwise, but that's because they never stop talking about it. Plus, there's plenty of new stuff that tries and fails to take its place by using similar tropes, but way less effectively. I'm looking at you, Escape Room, and the soon-to-be-released Escape Room 2. There's 7 folks trapped in a cube, each of whom have a talent that should help them survive the brutal gauntlet ahead. And when I say brutal, I mean both in terms of bloody trap set and the architecture of the rooms. Cube is famous for being atmospheric, intelligent, and not trying to force an explanation down the throat of everyone watching. It feels a little Kafka-esque and definitely has some surreal charm. Plus, it's an absolute masterwork in low-budget thrills. Like, they just redecorate and relight the same concrete room in a bunch of different ways to make it seem like the cube is as big as it claims to be. Big budgets be damned, this looks and feels more cohesive than most of what the other torture porn flicks try to get across. I think the best thing that Cube does is avoid overwritten explanations and exposition. There are moments in which characters pontificate upon the purpose and origin of the cube, ranging from government conspiracies to alien life forms, but they don't ever try to give a big, overarching reveal. No, it focuses on the characters dealing with problems as they present themselves and interacting with each other in interesting ways. And crazy traps. Gotta love the crazy traps. All for our enjoyment. It's kind of meta when you think about it. Who needs government experiments and extraterrestrials when you have a bloodthirsty audience? And finally, at number 1, we've got Alien Raiders. 2008 doesn't seem that long ago, but all of a sudden that's 12 years gone by. It makes sense this one's sort of under the radar, especially considering the low budget and lack of wide release. This was pre-streaming too, so it's likely they didn't reach the audience that they wanted to. The boilerplate title probably didn't help either. Regardless, Alien Raiders is a crazy tense bottle scenario of a movie. A group of masked gunmen take a grocery store hostage in order to check the shoppers for alien infection, while the cops outside have no idea what's going on. It kicks off fast with very little setup or explanation, which is actually a very good thing in this case. The alien hunting squad rolls in and scares the hell out of folks in the store. No time to explain, drink this milk. It's so effective because they're acting extremely unhinged for no apparent reason. Folks in the store haven't the foggiest as to why they're being held hostage, and you see folks getting gunned down for being aliens? Picture yourself in that situation, you know, you're out buying focaccia bread or something, and all of a sudden people storm this store. You're sitting there, hands tied behind your back, watching people get shot for no reason. They're saying aliens did it? These people are crazy. As the alien threat becomes more apparent, the clock starts ticking while the cops outside get more and more antsy. It's tense and well shot, and at times even feels a little bit like a modernized The Thing. There's less cool effects, and obviously Carpenter wasn't involved, but the comparison is still effective. We've got a group of desperate, mostly competent people fighting against a threat they barely understand in a tight space. It works. Do you think you'll remember these now? Go give them a watch and let me know if they stick. What'd you think of the list? How many of these have you seen? Do you remember them, or was this a shocking reminder? Are there any sci-fi horrors that I neglected to mention? Make sure you let me know down in the comments. Speaking of comments, let's take a look at some of your more bespectacled ones from the top 5 scary living creatures that need to be in horror movies. The Art of Horror says, not living, but I've always wanted to see a marsupial tree lion in a movie. Those things look evil AF. Stealthy, carnivorous, tree-dwelling death dealers. Oh hell yeah. Let's find some fossils and pull a Jurassic Park. I want to see it happen. Victor Valdez says, I'm picturing the satanic gecko with a larger urban counterpart. Imagine that, stalking the streets of, say, Rio, but then it hops a cargo container to NYC, shades of SCP-1155, predatory street art. Now let's imagine enough for a breeding colony. That's monster movie gold. I don't know what you're doing writing in the comments here. Get out the old typewriter and put together a first draft. Pitch that to a studio ASAP. Tammy Ruiz says, love the irony of wearing an outdoors shirt while in quarantine. I'm trying to manifest the outdoors inside. Flanker VT says, good job on being able to concentrate and work from home. I mean, it's not the easiest thing, but we gotta get the content to you good folks at home. And Fundy Gymnast says, I actually volunteered in my animal physiology class to let my prof slap a lamprey onto me like a 90s slap bracelet. That's an image I didn't think I needed, but here we are. One question for you though. Why? And that's all the time we have for today. Before I emulate Peggy Hill while skydiving, make sure to give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe for more science fiction freakiness. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Shoehorn expressive. Why can't I speak today? Everything sucks. Today, we're gonna be counting down the top 5 scary forgotten horror. Before we get going, make sure, whoop, it helps get the titular Will Smith, Jeff Goldblum. Hi, yeah, this one opened a couple weeks ahead of the Jeff Goldblum, What Am I Saying? From here, we enter a world of deceit and even his. And when I say brutal, I mean